Mike, there was a note out from UniCredit earlier that says that because you have so many vacancies and you can't rely on Powell's experience in the FOMC, you're losing like 33 years of experience if you take a look at Dudley, Fisher, and Yellen, that you're going to see more market volatility. Is that the feeling?
Not necessarily. You're not losing Bill Dudley right away. He is going to stay until his successor's in place, which will probably be in the summertime. So you've got 6 months of him being around at least. We don't know where the Trump administration is on appointing a new vice chair and other members of the board, and they do have a lot of openings. But according to Steve Mnuchin a couple of weeks ago, they hope by the end of the year they'll get them appointed, which might get them into office by sometime in the spring. And then don't forget the bank presidents. Many of them have been around for a very long time, very highly respected. So I don't think you'll see as much volatility as people think, especially since much of Fed policy is driven by their forecasts. We'll get their latest forecasts in December. Not expected to change a whole lot. It would only be a real question if there were a significant change in the economy. If all of a sudden inflation, for example, started shooting up.
Bob, do you agree?
Absolutely. The economy is readable, if I can use that phrase, for the Fed at this point, and so it's business pretty much as usual. They're going to kind of follow the curve, and that's pretty benign at the moment.
Are we encouraged, or are the markets encouraged, more importantly, by the fact that the appointments thus far have been pretty mainstream?
Yes.
These have not been radical people he's appointing. These are people who are on folks' lists.
There were some fears that might happen, that he might go in a direction that would suggest getting rid of the Fed or really severely curtailing its activities. But Jay Powell is about as mainstream as you can get. And the names that have been mentioned for the vice chair spot, while some are a little more radical in the sense of John Taylor or Kevin Warsh in what they would do with policy, they're still seen as widely respected mainstream sort of people, especially John Taylor as an economist. And then, of course, Mohamed El-Erian, people like to talk him up. Can't get any more mainstream Wall Street friendly than that.
Yeah, and Bob, it's not only Jay Powell, it's also Randy Quarles. Randy Quarles, as far as I understand it, everybody has enormous respect for him. He has a lot of experience at the Treasury and elsewhere.
Absolutely. I think the names we've all just mentioned, the markets will say, I can relax now, not a big deal. And we can't forget the hundreds of PhDs at the Fed are still there. They're not all changing, and they're the ones that are feeding the information and the way they organize it and feed it.